Hello Internet, my name is Gothic Lord UK and this is part 2 of my excursion into the 8-game mix tables. If you don't know what's going on, there is a part 1 of this video. I will link it in the description so that if you want to start there and get an idea of what's going on, you are certainly welcome to. But otherwise we will come back to our table of limit stud and see if we can't make some more money in another rotation of these 8 variants of poker, see if we can do it in the right order this time. Limit stud, stud high low. I'm tempted to call here. We're getting 4.5 to 1 on our money, 5.5 to 1. If we can hit a deuce or a tray, we're probably ahead. And so against the pair of fives now, we're definitely not ahead. So we're saying the 8-game variant mix. Limit stud, stud high low. What came next? Do we go straight into no limit hold'em and then pot limit Omaha? Then fixed limit deuce to 7, fixed limit hold'em, fixed limit Omaha high low, and rounding out with Raz. I don't think that was the right order, but that's definitely the correct 8 games that we will be playing in some rotation or another. And so again, at the moment, limit stud, everyone pays an ante. The lowest facing card on the boards brings in, and so in this instance that is going to be our 5 of hearts. And the lowest card brings in, there's a round of betting, and then streets and more betting and so forth. We're going to come along here. I think this guy can be full of shit a lot of the time. It just is 6 facing. And for a 50-cent street here, getting 4 to 1 on our call. I think if we can hit any 9, 10 or king, we're probably ahead. And when the bet ups to $1 here, we will just give up. And so we might be burning money there. As I said in part 1, limit stud is by far my worst game. Ironically, it's where we won all of our money in the last rotation, but limit stud, I am just completely out of the loop in what would be a correct and proper strategy to play this game. Apart from, I've got the best hand, keep betting. Obviously, one of the things to be aware of when playing any of the stud variants of the games is the cards that have been folded, because any folded card is a dead card. And so say you're in Dubrov's seat right now and you're thinking, oh, what might Gio have? You can certainly rule out him making a straight flush in this instance, because one of the other players already folded the 8 of spades, and so that's one less spade they can catch. And it's very important to keep in mind the outs that you have and your capacity to not only hit your hand, but for your opponent to hit their hand as well. And so if you saw, say, we'll fold the 6-7 because we're worrying about the high-low portion of the game now. But if you'd seen 2 opponents fold kings, with ace-4 here, we're going to raise. If you'd seen 2 opponents fold kings and then another king get dealt on 2nd street, and then they fold on that street, and then a player starts raising really aggressively on 6th street when they catch a king, the king's very unlikely to have helped them unless they're looking at straights or flushes, because all the other kings are dead, and so they can't be making a pair at that point. We're going to bring in again, or going to raise rather again here. 6 deuce is better than the 7s that are showing for low. Our jack is better than the 9 and 7s that are showing for high. And so, as far as I can tell, not a terrible spot for us to be in. The 3 is certainly good for our low holdings. And so, because we've got no high capacity or low capacity to make a hand here yet, we are just going to call behind. Queen doesn't really help us. And so with this player showing 3 cards to a 7 low, and we've only got 2 cards to a 6 low, we'd have to catch perfect on the river to make a low, and even more perfect to catch a straight for 6 high straight, which would be a low and a high, which is almost never going to happen, and so obviously stop ploughing money into the pot at that point. That player makes 7 low with a flush, which is obviously a very good hand in stud high low. Obviously the flush pays for high, which is always going to be a very good scoring hand, and 7 low is pretty damn good. After this one, 2 more hands of this, and then I think we're on to the more exciting variants, at least in my mind. So something to keep in mind in a situation like this, where one player is evidently just going for high, and another player is trying to win the high and the low. If you're going for high and you can see that your opponent has bricked out and cannot make a low, then you can be confident that you're going to scoop the pot, because if no low qualifying hand is made, the entire pot goes to the highest high hand. We're going to bring in here, but we'll likely call a raise from another player, especially now that that ace behind has been folded, but as it stands we just get the antes. So we'll probably just be folding this 7. Stud High Low is the only game where you can be showing a low card and be the bring in and be happy about it. Of course, in Stud High you could have, say, 3 of a kind deuces and be the bring in and be ready to raise with 3 of a kind, but getting 3 of a kind in the hole is so unlikely. Obviously, if you're going to play this game full time, then you need to know something more about it, but that's a bit more than I'm concerning myself with right now. Six tray goes straight in the muck. And what will happen a lot of times in these mixed games is players will work really hard to grind up a stack playing the fixed limit games, and then when the big bet games come round, so the no limit hold'em and the pot limit Omaha, is they will really knit up because they fear losing the stacks that they've spent so long to build, and so you can sometimes get away with being a little bit more loose in these instances. And with Do having such a deep stack behind, I'm inclined to defend in my small blind here, just in case we should manage to flop say an open ender or 2 pairs or something. As it stands, we're likely to just give up against his c-bet, but with him being so deep, I think we can certainly win a good pot if we hit some of that flop. Just going to fold Jack 5 on the button to a min raise. Didn't really feel like 3 betting, and calling is obviously terrible. Doyle Brunson gets folded, and next game, PLO. Folding 10 high here. Obviously any hand is going to be a high card unless you have a pair in the hole, but generally I want Broadway cards that are all together, or 6, 7, 8, 9 with suits and stuff like that. But as I expressed in part 1, PLO, again, not one of the games that I'm terribly confident playing. You have to imagine Foot had a king there with just leading out for pot. I will happily see a limped pot for free in the big blind. We have a pair of 6s. The deuce doesn't concern us yet because our 6s are better than a pair of deuces. We pick up a bad flush draw on the turn. We also have a gut shot to go with our hand, but given the passive play on the flop, I was happy to lead out. And the spade flush comes in, as well as the board pairing, and so we don't ever expect to win this pot. So the kings will take that one. be folding 9974. That's certainly no good to us. I think in the World Series they do a 10-game mix event, which is all of the games that we're playing now, as well as no limit deuce to 7 single draw, and I think it's either fixed limit or pot limit Badoogie as well. But in fact, you might be able to get that game on full tilt. Let's just have a little look. Of course, there's a new version, as there always seems to be when I open one of these poker clients up. Although I suppose it's nice to know that they are being constantly updated and kept secure and so forth, if nothing else. Thank you, Victor Blum. Just going to fold that. King was not connecting with our hand really at all. Remember my password. And so mixed games. So there is 10 game, but I was just on the tournament tab there. There is a 25 game, a 25 game event. What on earth is this? M-Tops event 25. What is this, Micro Turbo or something? I have no idea. 25 game mixed. Raz, Badoogie, Stud High Low, 5 card draw, Hold'em, Deuce to 7 triple draw, 6 card Omaha, Omaha High Low, Courchevel, Irish, 5 card Stud, Deuce to 7 triple draw, Omaha High Low, Stud High, Ace to 5 triple draw, Hold'em, Omaha High, 5 card draw, 5 card Omaha, Deuce to 7 single draw, Irish, 5 card draw, Omaha High Low, Deuce to 7 triple draw, Hold'em, Raz. This is Deuce to 7 triple draw. I will check for free and draw 3 to 7 tray. Improve not at all. They should bet because we drew 3 cards and they only drew 2, so they're a card ahead. I'm just looking at the date of this event, October 18th. What? 9 PM. Ah, what a ball ache. Ball ache being traditional exclamation to say I'm sad. That is at 9 PM on 9 PM on October 18th. October 18th is the Saturday I come back from the EPT. And I would love to play that event, but I think I don't get back home. I'm going to be... I know I'm going to fold to this raise. I was going to say I'm going to be really loose and play 4 deuce, but to a raise I'm going to fold. I would have loved to have played that, especially to record that. That would be really good fun. But I don't think I get back home until like 11, I think. Late reg through level 25. Levels are only 2 minutes. This looks really pretty, but it's low ball, of course, so we'll be folding that. So 25 2-minute levels is 50 minutes. Oh, I'm sad now. That would have been awesome. Still doing deuce to 7. I can't believe they've got a game with 25 variants in it. That's going to be like the fishiest field you've ever seen. I'm going to make a really bad raise here out of the small blind just because I think we can steal it. And not improve at all. Improve slightly. I should probably fold. If we're both drawing, then we could be doing decent. Yeah, we'll call off one more bet here. 8-7-6. Oh, no, we pipped them on the last card. We had 8-7-6-4 deuce. They had 8-7-6-4 tray. And in limit hold'em, we're going to raise our button here with 5-6. because we have position and all that other stuff. We'll steal that one. King 7, why not? The problem is when you go into this three ways, anybody's going to be getting like a really great price on whatever hand they have. As it turns out, we have no draw at all, but any flush or any straight draw is going to be coming along to the turn. You're never going to get anybody priced out in this instance. I'll certainly come along with ace 9. We will peel one more street. And so we've got a double gutter now. And I'm going to raise this spade and see if we can't represent something better than what they have. Obviously they don't believe us, why should they? But we're now getting 8-1 on a call, and so provided they don't have spades already, we have 10s and 6s to our straight outs. We could still win with like an 8 or something, an ace or something. But now we're probably not winning. So even getting 9-1 with just ace high, we can't call. Fold out of the blinds. Would have flopped a straight, but with the arse end of the straight and 3 spades on board, there's a lot of scary cards to come. But of course, a pair of 7s is going to take that one down. Ten for the straight, or we can steal it. Last hand of Hold'em. And then is it fixed limit Omaha high-low, I believe? I do think that is the case. Fixed limit Omaha high-low, as we suspected. We will check for free in the big blind, or fold to the raise. We would have flopped bottom set. Oh no, we would have flopped a set of jacks and a set of deuces, because we're that good. Probably not playing this out of the blinds either. And now all of the deuces and the 7s and stuff show up when we're not playing the deuce to 7, of course. Not playing this in Omaha high-low. Come on, give me some cards. Cards that I can get felted with. So they'll chop that one up. Deuce 5, just not good enough on the low side of things. If we had had 3 baby cards, we probably would have considered coming along, but with the paired 5, that's a card that's pretty useless to the strength of our hand. Seven, 9, 3, queen, still pretty bad. The other thing about all these mixed games is generally I have no idea what kind of notes to be making about a player and say how a player goes about playing stud. Like I have no idea what really to be making a mental note of, whereas in other games I can be like, oh, player plays deuce to 7 without a deuce in their hand, or things such as that. in these other mixed games, there's a lot less confidence in knowing what I'm speaking about. Hopefully they don't have a jack because we have ace 10. We'll peel off one street, and so that's a pretty scary card. We do now have an arse end of a straight. This flush also came in though, and all this other stuff, but the arse end of our straight will win. And now we are back to Raz, a game I feel slightly better about. With the two fives behind us, I'm not going to get mixed up in this. Excuse me, my cough. I've had this cough for 3 weeks, I'll have you know. I went out partying for a friend's birthday and drank to absolutely no end. Woke up feeling, well, generally hungover, I suppose, the immediate morning, but the next 3 days developed a cough, and it's now 3 weeks later, so I did try and go and see one of those things called a doctor, I swear. With a 5-5 queen there, that's obviously a terrible hand for Raz, apart from the fact that we can represent a 5 to our opponents, and they don't have to know that we have king 5 in the hole. A pair and a king high is really no help to us whatsoever. Equally, a pair of 4s and a 10, very much the same boat, is not doing anybody any good. Are we back to, no, we can't be back to stud already, can we, after this? Unless this was just a faster orbit than the last one, possibly. So I think the last one was about 32 minutes to go through all the games, although we did have some players drop out midway through, I think, and so the hands will at least play out faster. Queens in the hole, absolutely useless for Raz. It's not even like the split pot games where you can get half the pot. In this instance, we would have to catch 4-3 deuce ace or similar to win, and that would be catching perfect on 4 streets, which you're not going to hold your breath for. But we get to see it for free? Yeah, I certainly didn't bet that. So they're playing 10-5, we're currently playing 6-5, and so we're just going to fold. As I said, we'd have to catch perfect, and it's never going to happen. And we are back to stud, and so because stud is my worst game, I'm just going to fold and sit out and call that a session. A little bit shorter in part 2, but I'm quite happy with that. And so that has been just less than an hour of 8-game mix over on Stars. Obviously the limits will vary wildly depending on if it's an anti-game or a no-limit game or whatever else. I can probably point out actually that generally the fixed limit games will have a higher blind structure than the no-limit games, just because in the no-limit games there's no capping on the betting, and so you can get as much money in as you want in a no-limit game, whereas the fixed limit games you have to build that pot incrementally. Anyhow, I hope you enjoyed these 2 videos, and if you have any questions, comments, recommendations, requests, any of that good stuff, you can direct them to the comments below. And if you like these videos, please feel free to subscribe. It just means that you will get the videos immediately when they arrive to your inboxes. It doesn't mean anything particular to me other than that I know people are watching and that it's worth my while to keep making content. But of course it's not like I'm serving advertisements or any of that stuff on these videos. I do it just for the enjoyment of the game and the community there within. Thank you very much, and until next time, I've been Gothic Lord UK. Bye bye.